Welcome back to another lovely Saturday at the Sexy Brutale. Wait a second, this can't be the Sexy Brutale that burned down decades ago. Where are we? What's going on?
That's right, we're in the Sexy Finale.
Yes, of course. That's the only way that it could possibly end. We were talking about this before. I don't even know how to pronounce. I say Brutale, but it could just be Brutale. It's not a voice-acted game, so it's a little bit hard to, get a grasp on some of the pronunciation of these things. Anyway, at the top of the Heaven and Hell staircase, what else but, of course, the cathedral again. We began the game in here. We're going to end the game in here.
Ooh.
Which is,
Is that the last key that we get?
That's story writing, baby.
Are we done with getting keys?
Maybe.
Okay.
Well, I don't want to spoil anything. It's a sexy finale, after all.
Yes. We're just driving that into the ground. It was funny the first time, yeah.
I thought it was a good bit. Oh, you're just saying that because somebody in the chat said that now it's getting stale.
That's
By
right.
the way, we're streaming this one again.
That's right. I have no principles. If someone says something different from what I believe, I instantly believe that person.
It's true. That's why I'm able to convince you to do these videos so easily.
Yeah, like I didn't want to.
It's like that terrible Ricky Gervais movie, The Invention of Lying. It was just awful. Just awful.
Just Office.
Anyway. I'm pretty sure that this game is supposed to be... Brutale sounds French, so it fits the mansion theme. I'm pretty sure that this game is supposed to be taking place in like a vaguely... well, it's taking place in some like infinite void that might exist purely in the mind of a single man.
Are we
But
in
also...
a brain in a vat?
Well, yes. Well, I mean, he's literally in a vat. We've seen that. But...
the Burger King is being tortured
what was I saying
to death.
here? I think it's supposed to be taking place in like vaguely British area.
Like Wales or Scotland or England or Northern Ireland.
Yes, one of the places that does exist in Great Britain.
Or the Isle of Man or the Isle of Wight.
Well, anyway, poor Sixpence. Already been shot right in the chest, and now he's also got to get a bunch of shards of glass embedded in his body as well. The mysterious void. Britain. Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay.
The gray, misty void.
It's all taking place in a gigantic henge.
Nah, they say that there's stones there. I've yet to see them.
This is what Stonehenge used to be before they tore it down, leaving only the Stonehenge.
I can't believe they did that. They unleashed so many demons by doing that.
As I said in the previous one, I'm out of banter. I've got nothing more to say.
Too bad. Anyway, I see you've been waiting for me here. And here we are, baby. We're doing it. It's happening. Took the entire game, but we finally meet the Count, who literally appears on the starting screen and is going to make an appearance a half hour before the end.
Wow. And so we're in this is the clock tower then?
Yes, this is the actual clock tower. I mean, there's a secret entrance into it from the... We saw a little bit of that during Willow's storyline, but there's a secret entrance into the actual inner workings of the clock tower in the cathedral, which is why we weren't able to get here until now.
Did we know there was a clock tower from the beginning?
Oh yeah, we could hear the
okay.
We could see, we could hear the ringing. We could see, at least, like I said, part of it, sort of like just the gigantic shaft in Willow's storyline. That's where she died. But it is entire. It is clearly not intended to be accessed normally.
So, is this big clock tower a big bomb? Is it actually a bomb? It's set to go off?
No.
Oh.
That's the big bomb.
Oh, okay.
the one he's carrying. We actually saw that as we were coming in here too, but it is literally an alarm clock attached to a bunch of sticks of dynamite. It is so
This game is great.
We have the platonic ideal of the bomb right here.
This game is like very like Looney Tunes logic.
Absolutely.
Like,
I mean, we've seen. Just look at some of the ways that people have died. It's very Looney Tunes.
Like you might as. I mean, they literally have a piano that kills someone. Like.
Well, I mean, it was the singing, but yeah, it's close enough. Oh my god, that dumb bit goes on for so long too. I do appreciate, of course, Lux's just sort of bird-like disguise that he's going on here. Yes, and so if you were wondering why I was on fire, there you are. Yep. And this was actually something that we didn't, that it's like, we did not even understand when we saw it in the first episode, but if you're looking at the ledgers that actually exist up in the cathedral that, you know, are supposed to be showing the finances, they're covered in dust and clearly unused. That's because, well... Yeah, that's right. That's right. The entire impetus of this game is insurance fraud.
Wow.
Which I feel like is very befitting of a game like this.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of, you know, just like from the beginning of mysteries, it's always been a common theme, like Sherlock Holmes. Like,
he is doing insurance fraud.
Yep. Wait, I wasn't supposed to get caught in the fire.
No. But I mean, that's why. Yep, and I had been wondering about that the entire game. We had seen a body fall from like the top of the mansion down into the garden.
I see.
Like constantly. I assumed it was Sixpence because he was the only one up in like the upper part of the mansion. But nope, that was actually Lucas the entire time. And I'm sure if you got a good look at him in the actual garden itself, you could see that. But it was him. That's what you get for messing with insurance companies.
Yeah.
Added some flair, embellished the deaths. Yeah, and that's also what the Golden Masked Man was talking about when he said, well, I suppose Orem did sort of die by being melted into a gold bar because everybody just died in this fire the entire time. Or I guess from the explosion. It's kind of hard to say.
Yeah, no, this is kind
of... But there you are. That is the full story. Or is it? Because we have one more person left to save after all.
Isn't that Lucas?
Yes, it's Lucas.
Okay.
Who do you think it is?
Oh, I kind of killed that then.
No, it's the staff members.
Okay.
But yeah, as of right now, we've seen sort of the entire like bit. The funny thing with the way that this puzzle works is that you have very little time that you can actually go down into the room because the only time that he leaves is for like a moment just to go get the bomb. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. So it is, you can get like a little bit of dialogue here and everything, but otherwise it's largely the same thing, which is why it took me a few tries to figure out exactly what I need to do.
By the way, just a random thought, but like, you know, the Return to the Obra Dinn, you're an insurance agent.
Oh yeah, you are in that game.
Yeah. So
I feel like insurance fraud, like I said, for like a sort of a semi-period piece like this, or like Obra Dinn, that makes sense, right?
That's the true connective thread for all the loop games and puzzle games. It's actually you're solving the insurance mystery of what happened with the insurance.
Yeah, as it turns out, Chihiro Morimura, or I guess specifically Nenji's dad, was actually just had an insurance on the entire Earth.
All these interesting things that happen. Actually, it was just a really artful way of describing insurance fraud or lack of insurance fraud. Sometimes it's just an accident.
God knows that we could have used some insurance for the future of mankind in 13 Sentinels.
I don't think Doc has done the Obra Dinn series.
I have not.
It's a good game. I think you'd like it.
Oh, I've heard nothing but good stuff about it, but it is also like, oh man, that's going to be an entire thing. Would be fun to play though.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's how you get that hint there. Which is not the easiest thing to figure out. Yes, as it turns out, you can't just light the bomb on fire right there.
Oh, okay.
I know, it's a real big surprise.
So are you supposed to set this on fire before Lucas gets in there?
I'm the one that caused the explosion.
Yeah, all along.
It was me.
Maybe you could make it so that maybe it's a bomb that can't be disarmed. The only way to...
They just said they got to get the cutters. Come on.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It was it's a very simple puzzle, but like I said, there's only so much you can do because he is sitting right on that floor the entire time. That means that I'm kind of unable to really do too much while I'm waiting around here.
The witness also has an extended audio log.
What do you call the witness?
About the insurance.
Actually, you're right. The witness is a time loop game. I didn't even consider that.
No, I mean, it has an extended audio log about insurance fraud. Remember
I don't even...
the ship.
I listened to... I 100% in that game.
Remember the boat?
Was that in there?
Yeah,
I don't even
there was
remember.
like an audio log that it goes on for like 5 minutes talking about this ship that was... I don't remember if it was mishandled or whatever. But,
yes. No, I do remember that now. Never mind.
It's always been here all along. It's always been about the insurance. It's never been about anything.
And it's like that was in fact a time loop game.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I think we found the connective tissue between every time loop game to exist.
Sans Undertale is an insurance investigator.
That actually is not even entirely out of the question for a character like that.
Mm-hmm.
Was that game really like a time loop though? It was more like jumping around.
You're going through it
like you were in a house of pain.
You're going through an investigation, and Sans Undertale. This is such a boring way to end it. I'm gonna get off the insurance.
Oh, shut up! It's fine.
Okay.
I think this dumb bit is good. I like it. So anyway, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the clock on the dynamite, which is actually pretty good.
The thing with all time loop media and games has always been about ensuring that you get the right ending.
So anyway, somebody was saying in chat, you haven't mentioned to YouTube that we're still on stream. Yes, I had. I mentioned that earlier.
We are so on stream right now.
We are on and ready to go. Snap that, and we saved everybody. Everybody's alive. That's not true at all. That's not how this works.
Okay.
That is not in fact the we are not actually in the real world.
So what happened is that Lucas didn't die when he fell out of the clock tower, but he's been on life support ever since. And this is like a fantasy that he's constructing where he killed them in elaborate ways. And
actually, we find out a little bit later that he's not even on life support. He apparently was for a while, but I can't remember if they mentioned it as of just yet. But that Lucas, he went to jail for that, and he's kind of just been bumming around for a while, feeling guilty about it.
Okay, yeah. That's how he's dealing
more of a
with
metaphorical type of thing, but that is, sort of what's happening right now. He is in fact living life.
Sans is
though that whole the thing with the life support thing, I guess, was in fact something that did happen to him, and hence why it appeared here, and why each one of the crew manning the manor all look like that. The game's basically about his guilt complex. I'm tapping my forehead right now to show approval. Yes.
Yes.
You got it.
Yeah. Sans is the weakest IRS agent, indeed. It's sort of like
only one hit point and only one attack point. Frankly, you could push him over and he'll die. Is that Megalovania I hear?
Dun-dun-dun.
See, and you were afraid that we were ending this in a boring way, and I got to talk about Megalovania. Yes. And the entire thing is that Eleanor did in fact die in the mansion, as with everybody else. This is not actually Eleanor. This is just his sense of, just what he thinks his wife would have wanted.
There's also a Black Mirror episode where it's a time loop, and it turns out they're just being punished forever.
For insurance fraud?
I don't think it was insurance fraud. I think it was murder.
I mean, was there life insurance involved? I see. As long as it's not fart megalovania. You don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe we're talking about fart skeletons. You might be like, well, that's impossible. They have no internal organs. Well, me, Dr. Inferno Firebird, the most eminent necromancer in my field, has something to show you. See, now that's the worst way we can end a series.
It's kind of a desolate...
The memory of a broken man.
Yeah, like that. I think of this like Desolation Row or something. You know, it's all these characters. You know, they've got all these interesting quirks, but they all die, and at the end, it's like
they were in fact real people.
Yeah.
All of these people did in fact exist, and they presumably were all like this. But to be honest, this is just like Lucas's memory and understanding of them.
Well,
none of it was ever real.
That's also true with Desolation Row. He says in there.
I was trying to just go along with it because I never.
Right now, I can't.
About that.
Yeah. Yes, these people that you mentioned. Yes, I know them. They're quite lame. I had to rearrange their faces and give them all another name.
Gasp.
Yeah.
Once again, another one of those things that I think we all saw coming. Like I pointed this out 2 episodes ago or so, where I'm just like, hey, doesn't that seem like they have like very similar names? But of course, here's the biggest twist of them all: Lafcadio Boone is in fact a real person, apparently.
Oh,
like this version of him.
So Lucas is a character, but Lafcadio is a real person. With a real mansion.
The person that we're supposed to be playing as is in fact a real person. Here, it's so weird because we'll see this in the lore section later on. But it's like he is in fact a real person, and he apparently also died in the explosion as everybody else did. But here he also happens to be another aspect of Luke's personality at the same time. Oh,
this is getting weird. They're all the same person?
They were all the same person. I mean, it makes sense though, right?
Because none of it
If it was all just a manufactured in his own mind, that of course he was going to be the one carrying out everything. And they all had like on the gas mask in the same way that he was on life support for a long time. That whole thing.
Also, he's kind of in...
yes, you went to... Yeah, you were near dead, went to prison, still wasn't enough. Still can't forgive himself.
By the way, not to... point out something incredibly obvious, but yes, he's in a crucifixion pose. Like,
of course he is. He's actually just pulling off the Christ air move after he got a sick ollie on a skateboard.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna get a lot of points from that while Superman plays in the background. This is a Tony Hawk reference.
Was Christ a playable character in Tony Hawk? I feel like he was.
Probably at some point.
I think Satan
like
was.
Shrek, Spider-Man. They called it Christ there. Certainly they must have considered putting Jesus in there at some point.
I think we would all agree that Jesus would be an amazing skateboarder, though.
Absolutely. He's a real radical guy. He imagines himself as Lafcadio because he respected him, and that's a part that is willing to forgive. Yep. I mean, it's... again, we'll see this like a little bit later on. It's just weird because Lafcadio Boone and Lucas Bonds are 2 very similar names, which is why I thought that that's the sort of like a thing that they were going for, but it's like, oh wait, no, he's actually a real person.
Yeah. Harry is Jerry. That's a reference to the sphere. No one has seen that, have they?
I see. Well, yeah, an austere old man, a gambler in his past, somebody who was able to overcome like his vices and become eventually a man of God, which is why he was a character would like pray every time that he has like an idle animation, or every time that you went to one of the cabinets that are kind of around the mansion, including inside of the ballroom.
So everyone is alive, and they're all gonna get together and have a dinner. Is that what's happening?
No. They're actually gonna get together and have a dance party.
Oh, okay. Of course, they can jump around in this House of Pain.
I already made the House of Pain reference. You can't just bring that back.
It was a callback. It was literally just a callback. Like, I didn't...
Oh, that's what you say when you're trying to steal bits from me. You're trying to steal my great House of Pain bits.
It was painful to steal from you.
By the way, you can, in fact, say yes. And it literally does just restart the entire day. In which I found out the hard way there.
Wait, you want it all back? You can literally do that?
You can literally do that.
Oh my god.
I think that's, more intended like, oh, well, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's sort of a meaningful thing, but I think it's also like, do you want to go get like the rest of the stuff here first?
Yeah, make sure you get all the collectibles before you save. And it's funny because like even like D&D campaigns, we literally had that moment where it's like,
really,
okay,
you did that?
Well, it was a joke, but like make sure you get all your side quests done and stuff if you want to get them done.
Yeah. Point of no return. Video game. Yep. I don't know if this is necessarily point. I think it's supposed to be more of a thematic thing. But
yeah.
Still, the fact that you can actually do it, and then I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's learned the shadow clone jutsu. Finally.
Mm-hmm. Unlimited power. Or, I guess no would probably be better.
Yeah, it's probably the no. I feel like the Darth Vader references that I was making before was
yeah,
more apropos,
you
right?
shut down my no when there was literally nitrous oxide in the background.
Whatever. I didn't actually notice that.
Oh,
that's
okay.
why. And then to finish it up,
you didn't.
All of the puzzles are solved at the same time. I remember you asking me about that at one point in time, where it's just like, would it be possible? And it's like, no, you could not do it fast enough.
Okay.
However, Ken here, did you ever use fast travel? No. I had most of the collectibles and everything already done, so I didn't even need to.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, despite the fact that I got that, it's like, no, I was actually pretty on the ball as far as collecting stuff. I didn't know that I was going to get fast travel. This is like in Crosscode, where I found out that there was something that would tell you where treasure chests were, and I had already 100% completed the game, and I'm like, no, I spent so long doing that. You didn't tell me you were going to give that to me later.
By the way, during that montage, I guess that's what montage was a reference to. Okay, well, now I know that. But during that montage, I was picturing that like the credits music for Mario 64, like that last part.
Don't. Yeah,
like it's showing all these arenas you've been to. So he finally forgave himself.
Yep, and was able to snap himself out of the cycle of guilt, both literal and figurative, that he had been in for that long, and was able to. I mean, I guess the idea here was, I'm not even entirely sure if that was happening entirely as he was staring at the graves, but he ended up in the graveyard that we saw in the basement there. Finally managing to move on from his guilt over murdering everybody in this entire game years and years ago. You like the story of this game? I did. I really like this game a lot. I think this game is really good. But even then, we're still actually not over here. I never went into this room, so I just kind of walked in here to get like all the lore stuff.
Yeah. No,
just in case you were curious about that.
I think that's a satisfying ending.
I feel like, I feel like
kind of explains everything that happened in a way that feels...
It explains everything that happened. Like, the really weird, goofy nonsense makes a lot more sense when you put it in this context and everything like that. Yeah. I think it works out pretty well.
Yeah. And it almost becomes like, well, yeah, it feels like the interior of his mind because it is. And it's like, that's a nice...
Yes, it's supposed to have like a dreamlike logic because it is literally intended to be that way.
But it also has...
I'm trying desperately to go around here and grab every card that I can.
Yeah, but it also seems like, oh, okay, well, it's based on real events, so it has this sort of verisimilitude. It feels like this could have really been a real mansion, except for a lot of the things that are silly flourishes.
Except for the way too fantastic parts of it.
Yes, it feels like someone's recollection of their childhood house or something.
Yep. It's supposed to be happening decades in the future, that it makes sense.
Things are just a little bit exaggerated, or heightened.
I also do appreciate that not everybody died. That it's not like, oh, we're all in purgatory or whatever. It's just like, no, it really is the story of one man.
Yeah, I actually don't really love that when like a time loop game tries to explain everything and then that's the central fact of the universe. Like, no, it's a Groundhog Day. It's about the one guy, and then he gets out of it, and then they move on in a happy relationship. Like,
Yeah.
If it gets too big, then it's like, if this is the story of the universe, then it's not very interesting. I don't think I could clock.
We want to go talk about, like, I mean, yeah, that's that's something I talk about a lot with video games, where it's like oh, by the way, there we go. That's something I talk about a lot in video games, where I feel like the save the world plot is a little bit too overplayed, because it puts like incredible stakes, but also like very dull stakes.
Yeah,
sometimes.
and we definitely felt that with like 13 Sentinels. It felt like it was trying to be too much. It was trying to do too much with that story.
Too huge.
Yeah, it's just like, just have a story about a character. Like this is great. Like it's about guilt. You know, it's about.
Yeah, it's a little bit maudlin, and I do think that the whole, like, and you were the main character the entire time is cheesy, but you know what? I think it works all very good. I really like just how much thought was put into every single aspect of this game. It's very well thought out in a way that I enjoyed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what are you gonna do, writer? Not save the world? I think we talked about this even when we were doing like a Final Fantasy, where you mentioned somebody online or something. It's like having the stakes of saving the world means that if you can't really fail. Mm-hmm. You cannot fail because it's a bit well, or if you are going to fail, that's a pretty bold move on your part.
Yeah.
So it's like I prefer in games when we have just a smaller story talking about individual people. I was talking about Crosscode earlier, and even insofar as there were, in fact, lives at stake at certain points, it still had an air of being... I guess what I want to say is that I really prefer a lot when games have smaller scopes to them, and I feel like I'm a lot more engaged when a game has a smaller scope and, you know, lower stakes, but the ones that are still important.
Well, I think you can have the high stakes as long as they're kind of earned through the character relationships. If you start out setting out to save the world... That just feels like, if it turns out you're saving the world in the course of saving this character, I feel like that works a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, that's the entire thing, where it's just like, I want to care about the character first, and then I want to care about the sort of vague, the MacGuffin or whatever they have to get second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Outer Wilds, oh man. How does insurance fraud fit into that game, though?
I am actually curious.
I was actually watching a playthrough of that game recently. Damn, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's a lot of...
I don't know if I'm going to end up playing it myself.
I've played 4 or 5 hours of it. I haven't finished it, but yeah, no, it's pretty good. So
I hear the ending is actually pretty great.
Ooh, okay.
I only know basically what happens in it because, of course, I know everything about every game that I'm interested in anyway.
Yeah, of course. You never buy it. You learn it from streamers. Or Let's Players.
Or I learn it from streamers and then I buy it and play it.
Oh, yeah, of course. Did you know how this would end?
I guess spoilers do not affect me nearly as much as they do, I feel like, everybody else.
Now, did you know how this one would end?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I had a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
I feel like they built up into it in a way that as Kurt Vonnegut would say, that you could guess what the ending was even if the cockroaches ate the last few pages.
Yeah. I mean, this wasn't... or rather, you could pretty much get a pretty good idea. I mean, it was different from what we were exactly expecting, but yeah.
I mean, you know, considering how... Just bring back 13 Sentinels again. It's just like, I feel like I'm just getting so sick of big twists and stuff. I like things that it just give me a straightforward story.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's that old saying about, like, twists, they should feel like unexpected but inevitable. And I think in order to do that, you have to have it only be a single twist. You know, I feel like...
They did, of course, still have the, and you were the main character, which, again, is just like, whatever, that's not...
You know what? The cheesiness of that ending is, like, mirrors the cheesiness of the aesthetic. I think it works.
It's true. The Sex and Brutality does definitely have a lot of camp to it. I don't think anybody's going to argue that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a campy game, but it's a well-done campy game. Oh, and by the way, this is just all
100% recommended. I did really enjoy playing through this game, which is why it took me so long to end up finishing up the series, because I'm just like, I don't want it to just be like, all right, let's get this one in the can and put it out.
Yeah, exactly. Sort of thing. Yeah. Well, then,
you know,
it still took us a long time to do Be Great. Betrayer, though.
Yeah, and we still had plenty of talk about like with fart skeletons. So it's like, what do you want from me? Yeah. Like, frankly, I don't even know why I get so persnickety about these sometimes. Considering we're just gonna talk about fart skeletons at the end. Yeah. At the end of the day, regardless.
It's all just vibes.
Yeah. So there we got Claudio Boone as like. Is like what he actually looked like, which is apparently very similar to what Lucas looks like right now. Mm-hmm. It seemed unnecessary to have him be a separate character. I don't know.
Actually, I think you can do 2 twists. One twist has to be kind of near at the center, and then one twist has to be at the end. Though you can't do like
you don't need to have twists constantly throughout the entire game.
Yeah, what a concept, right?
Yeah. Are you sure you don't have to promise a twist and then wait 75 hours before making good on it? Even as good as it was.
Are you talking about the Persona at this point?
Persona 5.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Which, I mean, at least at least by the end of that, you know what? I was like, okay, that's clever. Mm-hmm. Fair enough, game. I will not grant you much, but I will grant you that. Mm-hmm. And yes, you might notice the bottom of the list. Yeah, that is the Golden Mask character. His name is Deuteronomy Bound. Mm-hmm. I get it. Wasn't there some secret room with some Cuphead Devil characters? Are you talking about, are you speaking of the Room of Hold Habits? Well, we got the lore bit on that, but yes, indeed. We are, in fact, going to be seeing that. Because as he said when I went in there the first time, he needs a full deck of cards to be able to play. And, well, I've done very well collecting all of those, as we've seen. First off, again, Deuteronomy Bound, even though he's called the Gold Skull right there. It's like, it's such a silly name.
What does Deuteronomy Bound means? I know it's like one of the books of the Bible.
Well, it's based on bonds, obviously being bound, Mm-hmm. But Deuteronomy, like that. Mm-hmm. What is like the exact definition of that here? I'm not even.
I think it means it's something with second. Like an idiot. Like, is it the second set of laws or something?
Something like that. And here we are. God, I love the music in this room. It's so good. And yes, he even refers to you as Lucas when you bring him all the cards. Mm-hmm. There was always another option. Say it. Say it right now. I know you're gonna say it. Come on.
Well, if you decide not to choose, you still have made a choice. That's
and there we go.
Oh, you knew I would say that.
Yeah, that's why I tossed that softball to you.
Okay, well, thank you. It's a Rush lyric.
So, needless to say, because Lucas Bonds was a raging gambling addict before this, that this might not be the best ending. Mm-hmm. Given the implications of what's going on here. Mm-hmm. Yes? I'm just like looking here. It's just like, what changed? We're just back here. Uh-huh. Can I leave? No.
Oh.
You can hear music in the background.
Is this just does it restart the whole game?
I told you.
Oh, okay.
As it turns out, yes, the game does indeed end with all the characters being totally fine and dancing.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you said that, where I was able to, to like lead right into this. Which, again, it's not a good ending. Yeah. Like, he fell right back into being addicted to gambling, but you know what I'm saying here. Certainly, I think it was still important to it at the very minimum, just because I like the Demon's room music so much. By the way,
are they playing Everybody Dance now? Dun, 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 dun.
It's not called Everybody Dance now. It's called Gonna Make You Sweat by the CNC Music Factory.
Oh, of course.
Of course.
I didn't know that.
Also get a good look at everybody without the masks on, which is kind of hard to see in the normal game. Usually only after you save them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, while maybe not the best ending, it's like well, it is an ending.
We're all back to life. You saved us all.
Sort of. But that then is the story of the sexy Brutale, which for some reason, I don't know why this is how it ends the sequence, but whatever.
Oh, Deuteronomy is the 5th book of Moses, the last day alive for Moses.
Ah, that makes a lot of sense then. There we go.
Okay.
So let's watch the credits here. I almost actually forgot to include the credits in the game because I kind of skipped past it because I'm like, oh man, well, we got so much more content to do. But it's like,
yeah,
should probably throw it in here. Yeah. You know,
these are the people who made this game that we all enjoyed.
I liked it. Once again, just kind of like wrapping it up here. Really good game. 2 thumbs up. I had a great time. Would highly recommend. And then I accidentally I skipped it anyway because I forgot.
Yeah.